finally our last inductee tonight to the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. And I'm so glad that I'm here for the first time at this, because I've followed his career since he was a baby, and he still is. He's Benjamin Button of golf. Guy has never grown up, but he's a wonderful, wonderful guy and a great, great golfer. And I always remember calling so many Canadian Opens and Canadian golf events in the past. And like Brian and Karen Stemmel, who understand when they were skiing how many times you always said, Brian Stemmel or Karen Stemmel from Aurora, Ontario. Because I think in Canada we need to say where we're from. And when this guy broke on the scene, I remember us, proudly saying, there he is, from Aurora, Ontario, David Moreland IV. He sounded like Thurston Howell III. And I kind of the fourth. But if you understand David Moreland, you'll understand why that IV at the back of his name is so important. And it's why every one of us is in this room tonight. Is because golf, like sports, is passed on from generation to generation. I love covering this guy. Welcome to the Hall, David Moreland.
David Moreland IV was born in North Bay on April 3, 1969. He was 4 years old when his father, David Moreland III, first introduced him to the golf course. David's father, grandfather, and great-uncle were amateur golf players and encouraged him in the sport.
When he was 4 years old, I lived in Toronto, and I would take him out to the golf course and go out and play 9 holes while he putted on the putting green. And the owner at that time of the golf course often would putt him for dimes. And he became really proficient for a 4-year-old putting. And I'd take him out on the golf course as well. And he had a hickory shaft 5-iron, which he would hit around, and that's when he started actually playing.
Although David also played hockey when he was younger, in grade 10 he left the ice to focus on the green. In the 1980s, his efforts began to pay off.
He works tirelessly on his golf game and has a very good short game. His short game was, when he was on tour, one of the best. But being small, he's not a long ball hitter, so he has to have a good short game. Putter or wedge or bunker play is really one of the best.
Moreland lived in Aurora from 1987 to 1994 and represented Aurora as a junior golfer, winning 6 tournaments, including the 1986 Ontario Junior Boys Tournament and the 1987 Ontario Junior Tournament. In addition, he was runner-up for the 1987 Canadian Junior Championship, and he and his father won the Ontario Men's Better Ball Championship. He was a member of the Kings Riding Golf Club in King City from 1987 to 1991, and in the summers of '88 and '89, Moreland also worked on the ground crew of the 18-hole Aurora Highlands West Golf Course. While he was at Kent State University on a golf scholarship pursuing his studies in marketing, he won 3 tournaments. He was a 2-timed All-American Honorable Mention in 1987 and 1991. Moreland went pro in 1991 and was awarded the Canadian Tour Rookie of the Year in 1992. In 1999, he won the McDonald's PEI Challenge, a prestigious Canadian tour offering golf fans a chance to see some of the best up-and-coming pro golfers from across Canada and around the world. Moreland finished 6th on the Canadian Order of Merit. Moreland competed in the PGA Tour from 2000 to 2002 and in 2004. He came 5th overall in the 2001 Bell Canadian Open at Glen Abbey in Oakville. In 2002, he posted a 19 under par total, despite the impending rain, to win at the 54-hole Web.com Hibernia Southern Open, and in the 2003 Carolina Classic, posting 4 rounds in the 60s. At the 2003 and 2005 Web.com Tour Championships, he changed into Austin Powers and Elvis Presley costumes on Halloween during the last hole of play in the final round.
Coming down the 18th hole, he was going to get his PGA Tour card again at tour school, or the final tournament, and he had his Austin Powers clothes and the teeth in his bag, so he put them on walking down the 18th hole after he knocked it onto the 18th green. So everybody had a big laugh about that. He's a bit of a clown too.
Moreland returned to Aurora and was a member of the Web.com Tour in 2003, and then again from 2005 to 2012. During his career, he has played against golfers such as Jack Nicklaus, Greg Norman, and Tiger Woods.
David, I and your mother, your brother, and all of the family are very, very proud of your accomplishments on the golf course and off the golf course. And we'd like to congratulate you on being inducted into the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. You deserve it, and congratulations.
And now, we are proud to welcome athlete David Moreland IV into the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, David. I'd like to invite Steve Hinder, manager of Magna for Community, to the stage as well to help present the sweater and the plaque. By the way, Dave Moreland also came very close to breaking that long drought of Canadians who have not won at the Canadian Open. A few years ago, came so close. And his college coach is a man who has brought a lot of Canadians to Kent State. Golden Flashes, Herb Page, through the years. And he brought one of the best in this man right here. In the spirit of Austin Powers, welcome to the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. Yeah, baby. David Moreland IV.
I think my dad just covered 3/4 of my speech. But tonight I'm being inducted into the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, but tonight I'm not alone. It's a collaboration of many great people throughout my life. First and foremost, my lovely wife, who stood by my side as we get to embark on our second part of our career, the Champions Tour. That'll be coming up. Qualifying score is literally in 5 days, so we got an early flight out back to Florida tomorrow to prepare for that. But I'd like to first thank God for giving me the strength and direction in my life to be able to pursue my career on the PGA Tour, and my parents for their guiding support and teaching me the importance of integrity and hard work. From a young age, I always had a stick in my hand. Didn't matter whether it was a golf club, a hockey stick, or a broomstick. I was always chasing a ball or a puck. At age 4, I was actually shagging balls for my dad, and that's the great thing about this game. It doesn't matter whether you're 4 years old or you're 95 years old. You can enjoy it with your kids, your grandkids, your father, your grandfather. We talked a little bit about why it's David Moreland IV. Well, when I was actually on tour, my dad was still playing at age 61. He qualified for a Canadian Tour event. Didn't play very good, and the scores come back, and they're like, "What's wrong with Moreland?" And I said, "You know what? I need to throw the fourth in there." But from an early age, my grandfather and great uncle were great amateur players. Both won provincial championships, and through their connections in golf, George Knudsen, Al Balding, Ben Kern, I got my first golf lesson from Al Balding at age 11. And I worked with George Knudson from age 14 to 18. And the one thing that they taught me was you never do anything at the expense of balance. And that's on the golf course and off the golf course. And my balance is sitting right over there. I would also like to thank my parents for the sacrifices that they made, for all the hockey moms and dads out there that sit in the rinks, my mom and dad traveling to tournaments, the amount of time that they spent. When it came to choosing a college, I was in grade 12 and hadn't written away to any schools, and actually had a full rides to Northwestern, Illinois, which were both great schools. But I had an offer from Kent State. Herbie Page, a fellow Canadian from Toronto, recruited me. And most of the Division I schools, top schools, had 5 scholarships to give out, where Kent State had 2, competing at the highest level in Division I. I got offered a half scholarship plus out of state, worked out to 2/3. Both my parents were school teachers, and it put a little bit of financial stress on them, but they said, go to where you think that you can become the best. And Herbie stood out above and beyond, and it was probably the best choice that I could have made. And by the time we left Kent State, I was a 2-time All-American, and we were ranked 11th in the country. So to Herbie, 30 years later, I still talk to him about once a month, and he's been a great mentor for me. Golf is an individual game, but without our coaches, I would have never made it to the level that I did. I spent 8 years traveling Canada, Asia, and South America, and a bunch in the U.S., globetrotting, before I actually made it to the PGA Tour. And in 1999, I won in Prince Edward Island and did a corporate outing with Peter Jacobson. And he pulled me aside afterwards and he said, "Why aren't you on the PGA Tour?" And I said, "I don't know." And I don't know if it was someone else believing in you. At 5'6", you never know how big someone's heart is from a triathlon until you compete and you find out what you're truly made of. That year at Q School, I had been stuck at second stage for 8 years, missing by a shot, missing by 2. What do you need to do different to break through? And, again, it comes down to remembering a shot in the second round, getting it up and down from 230 for par, and making it by a shot just to get to the finals. So for those who don't follow golf, we have about 1,100 golfers that start out the qualifying. There's 3 different stages, and at finals there's about 180 guys for 25 spots. And for me, it was just a quiet confidence that once I got to the finals, I kind of cruised through and finished 16th to the finals to get to the tour. I ended up losing my card the first year, had to go back to the qualifying school, and we talk about fine lines. What's it going to take to break through? And again, I had to go back to the second stage. I make it by a shot. And going into the finals, I had a different frame of mind. And working with the sports psychologist, we set up a game plan of not just to get my tour card back. What was the winning score 2 years ago? And it was Mike Weird shot 25 under par out at PGA West out in California. So we devised a plan of shooting 25 under par for 6 days. A pretty daunting task, to say the least. But we broke it down to where 6 days, it's 4 under a day. Break it down 2 under each 9 holes. You can make 3 birdies out of 9. Allows for mistakes. You're going to make mistakes in a 108-hole tournament. After 5 rounds, there was 30 under par. Going into the last day, I could have shot 88 and gotten my PGA Tour card. It's a nice feeling. But I ended up shooting 72 the last day and finishing second. But the moral isn't to to what we accomplished. It's when you set goals and you set them high enough, higher than you think that you can never reach, break it down, and it comes to everyday life, not just on the golf course. See yourself higher than you've ever seen yourself that you can never reach. Reach for the stars and you can make it. Thank you very much.